As you can see, there are over 1.8 billion websites in the world. Every website on the internet uses HTML one way or another, and understanding HTML will give you a fundamental understanding of how the website you see every day are created. Chances are you probably have heard about the trinity of front-end web development: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Right now you can create a website using just HTML. It may not be super pretty or interactive necessarily, but you can totally do it. In later tutorials, we will use CSS and JavaScript to make our websites look nicer and more functional. But for now, HTML is a pretty good starting point in order to have a full understanding of the web. In a nutshell, HTML is used for structure and content of the websites, whereas CSS is used for the style of the website, so that it looks pretty, and JavaScript is used for interactivity and functionality. Okay, let's start coding with HTML. And as you can see, we have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript editing screens. Since we are only going to be using HTML in this tutorial, we are going to be minimizing these other ones. Okay, on the screen, as you can see, we have one HTML part, and this bottom section will be displaying our website as we start typing HTML code. In the very first line of an HTML document, we should write the version of HTML we are using. In HTML5, we can achieve this by writing this line. When we write code in HTML, we write that code in a document called HTML document. This is just like other documents you use during the day. For example, if you are using Microsoft Word documents, it ends with .docx extension, and the HTML documents end with .html extension. This document we write is sent to the browser we want to display the website in, and the browser reads the HTML document line by line and displays its contents. Now that we have typed this line, let's type two HTML tags like so. Unlike JavaScript or other programming languages, HTML is not a programming language and it does not have complex programming logic. In HTML, what we do is to mark up some parts of the document we write so that they have different structural behavior. This will make more sense as you are coding along. We create most of the structure of the website using what is called HTML tags. Most tags have an opening and a closing tag, just like the HTML tag we just used. This is the opening tag and this is the closing tag. As you can see, for the closing tag, we are using this / between the opening and the closing HTML tags is where we will write our HTML code to structure our website. So, right here. There are two main parts to an HTML document: the head and the body part. In a nutshell, the head part is where we will have relevant information about our website to make it fully functional and reliable. We also have a shortcut when we are writing our tags, so we don't have to type out every single part. What we can do is basically we just write head and click on tab so that it writes both the opening and the closing tag for us. And we can just write our code in the middle. So let's just delete one of them. The other part we have is the body part. So let's just type body and click on tab. In the body part of the HTML document, we will create the actual structure of the website. So all the code about the website will go into the head part, and all the code that forms the actual structure of the website will go into the body part. Whether you are coding in an online text editor like this or an IDE, there are parts in HTML called a boilerplate code that you have to write every time you code in HTML. That's why a quick Google search will usually show you the keyboard shortcut to create that boilerplate code in whichever environment you code in. In most cases, however, typing exclamation mark or HTML and pressing the tab key or return key should give you a pretty basic boilerplate code for HTML. So let's try that. Let's type exclamation mark and then click on the tab key. And as you can see, we have our boilerplate code ready for us. Most parts you can recognize from what we have been typing previously, such as this first line, the HTML tag, the head tag, the closing tag for heads, and the body tags. One of the things you should know about this code is that you don't have to understand everything about it just yet. For now, we can take a look at it line by line and try to get an overall understanding. The first line, as you can see, tells the type of HTML version we use. For HTML5, it's simply written as this. In the second line, we have the major HTML opening tag, which will enclose all the HTML code we write. We also tell the browser that this HTML document uses English as a language. This pairings of keywords to add additional information about the tag is called an HTML tag attribute. This basically means that on top of using the tag, when we want to give more information about the tag, we write it in key value pairs. The way to do that in HTML is basically in this format. So what we are doing is that after typing this, we type the tag name, which is HTML in this case. Then we leave a space and enter the key name, which is lang in this case, which stands for language. Then we type an equal sign and we type the value name inside quotation marks, and finally we close the opening tag with a bigger than sign. If the format is unfamiliar, do not worry, it's pretty easy to get used to once you write it a couple of times, and it will become a second nature after a while. For now, let's see what else we have in the boilerplate code that we have. On the next line, we have the head tag. This includes multiple important information about our website. Some of these important informations are denoted with a meta tag as they contain meta information or higher level information about the website. One of the main one being the char set. With char set or the character set, we tell the browser what kind of character encoding we use in our website. One of the most popular and the standard way to use is the UTF-8 encoding. Writing this line helps ensure that people viewing our content all over the world from different countries and languages are using the right kind of encoding to view our websites. The next two lines are also meta tags, and they're also there to make your website display more reliably. On the next line, we have the title for the website. This is the part that will show up in the search engines and also at the top of your browser if you open the website in a separate tab. For instance, in this website, this is the title. As you can see, it says create a new pen. And if we were done with our website, ours would say documents right here. Let's move to the body tag so we can code the actual contents of the website. Between the opening and the closing body tag, let's write our hello world code like so. So what we did is type H1 and click on tab, and in between this we will type hello world. As you can see, the result of our code is shown right here. H1 is basically a tag for writing headings, and it is actually the biggest size of headings. The other sizes we can also experiment with, for instance H3. And as you can see, it's a smaller size heading. The sizes of headings actually ranges from 1 to 6, 6 being the smallest, and 1, as we have seen, is the biggest one. So let's try H6. And let's write hello again. And as you can see, it is much smaller than our first H1 tag. Let's move on to another very common HTML tag. If there is something you will use other than titles or headings, it's probably a paragraph. In HTML, you can create a paragraph element with a p tag. So what we are going to do is type p and click on tab. And let's write some paragraph here. Our next element is going to be a list. In HTML, there are two major kinds of lists you can create: ordered and unordered lists. Ordered lists are the ones that has some organizational structure like a numbering system, or even using letters in order for each element in the list. You can create an ordered list with the tag OL, and it is short for ordered list. And in between these OL tags, we can list our items here. And in order to list our items, we are going to use li tag. So let's just type li and click on tab. So our first list item is going to be some list elements. So let's do another one, li tab, another list element. So we can keep adding list items by adding additional li tags. Third list elements. And as you can see, our list elements are shown as unordered lists. Unordered lists are pretty similar to ordered lists, however, they don't have any ordered component to their items like any numbers or letters. By default, they will have bullet points before the list elements. You can create an unordered list with a UL tag, which is short for unordered list, and then inside the UL tag, you can nestle list items in LI tags, and let's do that right now. UL, then click on tab, and then we are going to do the same thing, LI tag, and click on tab. Another common element we can use is an A tag. Using the A tag, we can link a variety of documents. In order to do that, we should use the attributes of href and give it the value of the link path we want to direct to. We can not only link the viewer to different HTML documents or to different pages of our websites, but we can also direct them to external websites, or they can be linked to files such as images or video files. Let's see that with an example and send people to YouTube when they click on some text that says go to YouTube. So basically we write the full website name in between the quotation marks right here, and then in between the A tag, opening and closing tags, we will write go to YouTube, and we have it right here. Now that we have seen some basic understanding of HTML, it's probably a good idea to briefly see the other two parts in the front-end trinity. This way, before diving further into web development, you will give yourself the chance to see the big picture first, and thus have a fundamental understanding of the main elements in web development from the very beginning. So don't forget to like this video and make sure you subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the other two front-end trinity videos to come, as well as more tutorials on web development. I will see you guys in my next video.